Well, we mentioned this issue has been in the headlines lately. One man who's been in the news lately is Reverend Larry Rice. Tonight he is in the studio. We'll be talking to him in about 5 minutes or so. But first, let's start big picture with Laurie Phillips, the CEO of the St. Patrick's Center. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Casey.
How much of homelessness in our region is what people might see when they exit Highway 40 and they see a man or a woman with a sign?
Very little, actually. So homelessness is caused by a lack of access to affordable housing, and it can hit anyone in any socioeconomic state at any time. So it's not just the people that we see on the street, sort of the stereotype that we build around people who are homeless, but it affects everybody, and it affects some people more than once in their lives.
Not to say that that's not a real issue or a real problem when we see, unfortunately, the scene of a person who's getting warmth from a grate on the sidewalk.
Absolutely.
Can you put any numbers on this issue? How many people do we think are homeless in the St. Louis region?
Well, I think our point in time count from last year, which is a one-night count that is done all around the country in January or February, was about 1,300 people found to be homeless, either living in shelter or living in a place not habitable for human beings in the city of St. Louis. And the counts vary in some of the other regions in the metro area. And
this may be something that's harder to quantify, and in fact I'm sure it is. Is there a large segment of the population or a significant segment of the population that is on the verge of becoming homeless?
Absolutely, absolutely. So St. Patrick's Center serves clients who are both homeless, technically by definition homeless, and then folks who are at risk of homelessness. And that risk of homelessness can come from many different ways. You know, for example, if you're in a relationship that's ending and you're not currently employed, you are at risk of being homeless. If you are unable to pay your rent because you've recently lost your job, you're at risk of being homeless. And many of our programs will help people with rent assistance or to keep their utilities paid so they can stay in their housing.
People don't say it out loud probably, but I think people might think this is a sign of some failure. This is a sign of laziness, or maybe they might attribute it to mental illness.
Right, so I think some people will say that out loud, unfortunately, but I will tell you that the clients that I've met in working at St. Patrick's Center are some of the strongest and most innovative and resilient people that I've ever met. These are folks who literally carry everything they own on their back. They have to do it every single day, and they have to defy the elements to survive, to find something to eat, to find some place to stay warm or stay cool. And it is absolutely not a sign of weakness or what the typical stereotype of a homeless person might be.
What are we doing about it? Is our city equipped the way other cities our size are, or with other cities with a similar homeless problem?
We have amazing agencies in our community, both in St. Louis City and in the entire region, who provide services to individuals who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. We have shelter organizations that can provide that emergency need when someone finds themselves on the street. And we have organizations like St. Patrick's Center and many others who can provide wraparound services for people who are homeless. St. Patrick's Center in particular does housing, employment, and health. And we do that not only by helping people find employment, helping people get into housing, helping people work on their health issues, but then also providing wraparound services where we can help people continue to stabilize their lives and make positive change.
Is it getting better or is it getting worse?
I think it's getting better. I really do. I mean, I recently looked at a report that was put out by the National Alliance to End Homelessness, and the statistics for the state of Missouri, not specific to St. Louis and the region, but for the state of Missouri, show almost every category of the homeless population decreasing in the state, and I think our overall decrease is a little under 6%. So that's really good that we see that going down.
The coalition to end, can we end homelessness? Is that a thing that's possible? We hear that we tossed around different goals are set that have that phrase in it.
I absolutely think we can. There are other communities in this country who have been able to get to what we call functional zero homelessness. So the only people who find themselves homeless are the ones that are in an emergency situation. There are a lot of innovative programs that have been going on actually for many, many years and proven to be really effective in solving the problem of homelessness, including something called rapid rehousing, which is getting someone into housing immediately when they're out of housing, as opposed to making their be a criteria for housing. You have to take your, you have to get medical treatment, you have to get sober. Those shouldn't have to be criteria for people getting housed, because if you're housed, you become stable, and then it's easier to work on some of the other issues that may have caused your homelessness.
Is there a time window that is critical? Is there a point at which you're trying to get someone in a house?
You try to do it as quickly as you can. So, if you can get someone in housing within days, that's fantastic. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that, depending on the funding and the programs that someone's eligible for.